Hello and welcome to the Blue Collar Business Podcast. This is our first episode.
Hello.
My name is Garrett Frazee. This podcast, we're going to be talking about my experience and my story with working in the construction field and then starting my own business in the same field. And I found a lot of success, a lot more than I expected, and it wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it would be. We're also joined by my co-host, Grant.
Hi, I'm Grant. I'm doing the same kind of work that Garrett has done, kind of handyman stuff. And I've been doing it on my own for, actually this last year is when I started. So I've only been doing it for maybe 6 months, and it's been going pretty well. Not hugely successful. I think Garrett did pretty well. I've been doing all right for myself, and yeah.
Successful for you, what you want.
For me, yeah, it's worked out.
Yeah, we're both quite happy with our businesses, and yeah, we want to encourage others to step out onto the edge of entrepreneurship, and maybe your success, or our success, could be your own. It's really not as hard as we thought it would be. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to give you some tips and tricks of how to get your business going, how to maintain it, how to talk to clients, and all the ins and outs of running a business day in and day out, and mainly focusing on our own experiences that you guys can learn from what we've done right, what we've done wrong. So to kick off episode 1, we're going to just talk about what this show is going to be about. So I want to start every episode with a question for both of us. And the question is, what are you currently working on and how's it going?
Right now, I am working on a project that I've been working on for a little over 2 months, actually. Just like a full kitchen remodel and doing something where they're like TV wall, just like a bunch of carpentry work mostly.
Nice.
And like this last week, I did the baseboards, just finished those up. So that's what I've been working on, and still in the middle of it, so still got about a month or so to go.
A whole month. We talked last week and you said it was a whole month, so no progress?
Yes. Well, it's like, about a month. So
all right, well.
About a month could be, 2 months to, 3 weeks.
He's going to be saying a month for the next 4 weeks, folks.
Yep.
It's unfortunate, but that's all right. Sometimes it happens and you still make money. So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. But, the longer it goes out, the less money I make.
That's true. Yeah.
But, it's kind of, I can't really help it anymore.
I'm pretty sure every job I start, I plan on making $80 an hour and I end up making $30. So it's not just you.
I think I'm hovering around there, so I'm still doing okay.
Hovering around what, 30 or 50?
30.
Or 80? Oh, 30.
80.
All right. 80's long gone.
That was months ago. That was a month or so ago, yeah.
That's all right. All right, so I want to start also with the discussion of just generally for our businesses. And like I said, I started my business in 2021, so I've been at it a bit longer than Grant. Grant kind of informally started his business, what would you say, half a year ago?
Yeah, I said like 6 months. I think it started it kind of around July, August or so.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about
and that's just me doing it on my own. I've been doing the same kind of work for, I don't know, like in and out like 4 or 5 years, but
that's
doing
true.
My own thing. Yeah.
Grant's not a noob in the field. He is just more of a noob as far as working on his own. All right. But we're going to be talking about that. My experience the last few years running this, and Grant's active experience currently in the trenches.
Yeah, because you're kind of moving away from it a little bit, right?
Unfortunately, I am. I'm going to be doing it on the side, but my main focus is going to be different now. But that's all right. I still have a lot of past experience that I'm excited to talk about.
Yeah.
So I want to start off with a question for you. What do you think has been challenging about your business, and what has been rewarding? So we'll start there. What has been challenging?
For me, challenging has been like always has been like pricing and trying to figure out what I should charge. Because I've been doing it for the last 6 months on my own, but the last few years I kind of been doing odd jobs here and there that I would have to kind of set my own budget and do what I'm doing now on my own. And it's just really tough for me to figure out how long a project is going to take me and like how much I should charge, which I'm sure is a challenge for anybody doing this kind of work.
That's still a challenge for me.
Even though I've been doing it for years, I mean, not like a crazy amount of time, but I should know how long I take to do things, and I still don't seem to have any idea. Like when I start a project, how long it's going to take. It's kind of crazy, but that's been a real kind of struggle for me, is trying to figure out, what it's all going to take when I start it, so I can accurately kind of estimate prices.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a common concern, especially when I started my business. I was concerned about, am I going to be taking so long to do stuff? Because I'm only working by myself. Like, is it going to take me so long that I'm not end up making any money? But what I found is that I'm able to charge people a fair amount, not unfair, but I'm able to charge them a decent amount. And then at the end of the day, even if it takes me way longer than I expected, I'm almost never making less than what I was making with my old job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still good money out there. You, like, no matter how long it takes. It's hard to get it so wrong that you don't make like a good amount of wages for a day, but that can happen. That has happened to me before where I got it so money? Wrong. Not losing money, but like
making scraps.
Just my hourly wage is so low. It's like, this was not even close to worth it.
Yeah, we've all been there. I've done the same as well, where I end up making like $10 an hour, and I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, this isn't worth it. But
we are, just a caveat.
You learn from those ones.
Yeah, just a caveat here. We are both sort of handyman contractors, so our business, generally speaking, pretty low costs. Like, our major cost for people is our labor. So that's why we're almost always making money, even if it's not that much. I'm sure there's going to be people listening who are going to be in a different field, and they may actually run the risk of not making money if they don't schedule their time well.
That must be tough.
But I think, generally speaking, in blue collar fields, and as we talk about how to convert those into your own business, generally speaking, they're about the labor time, and that's where we're making the money. So it'll be hard to actually lose money on what you're doing. So that's comforting.
Yeah. Oh, I thought of something else that I struggle with is taxes. I don't really understand taxes. Mm-hmm. That's always been a struggle for me. Just like trying to wrap my head around it and trying to figure out because the way I do it, I end up paying it all at once at the end of the year. Not at the end of the year, April when tax season comes.
Yeah.
I ended up paying it all in one lump sum, and that always kind of stresses me out because I don't really know what I'm going to be paying.
Yeah. It is stressful. You don't know. Yeah. Last year I didn't know if I was going to be paying $6,000 or $20,000.
I seriously
it's kind of stressful.
Yeah.
Luckily it was like 10, so it wasn't going to break the bank, but I was a little worried about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're like me, but I'm always like, I'll set money aside. That'll be ready for tax season, but I never do.
Yeah. I always have this great idea that I'm going to put all the money that I should pay for taxes, in next April. I'm going to start putting it into an account, like in small amounts. I'm going to put some money into an account that, some kind of like mutual fund or something that'll slowly make money throughout the year. Small amount of money, but something. And then at the end of the year, maybe I make a little bit from that fund, or I pay it all to taxes. I don't know. That's always been a dream of mine.
Incredible.
I've never set that up.
We'll be checking in on that every year of this podcast to see if that's ever worked for you. But I really like the ambition.
Yeah. Maybe this May I'll set that up. I'll try.
All right. Just briefly, let's both touch on what has been rewarding about your small business.
For me, it's just the work. I think as this podcast goes on, you'll kind of learn that I'm not very great at the business part of it. I don't put a lot of work into that. But the actual, working with my hands, the stuff that I do, all day, every day, I do kind of enjoy a lot of it.
That's good. It's important.
It was maybe a month or so ago on this same project I'm working at. I was working on a pantry, and it was just I ripped out the old pantry shelves and was putting in some new ones, and the new ones were going to be like some nice, it's just, not super nice wood, but just some pine that was stained and then just sealed. So, and it just came out looking really good. And like last week I was in the kitchen, and I just looked at the pantry, and I just kind of enjoyed looking at my old work, and I thought it looked really good. So
That's
I think
nice.
it's really rewarding for me just to see something go from, you know, an okay pantry to, by the time I'm done with it, oh, this looks nice. Like, I'm happy with the way it looks, and it looks good.
Yeah, I agree. There's something to that. I also enjoy the work itself, and most of the time when you're working on a physical project for somebody, and then when you have it all done and it looks nice, it's really cool to see how it all came together.
Yeah.
I think something that's been rewarding for me, maybe this sounds vain, but it's been really rewarding, like being able to see that I can actually make decent money doing this. That was, when I started my business, I had just gotten married, and I was like, oh, I want to make sure I'm making enough money. And I didn't think that I would when I was starting this. I was kind of just trying it just for the sake of trying, because I didn't really have a lot of other good avenues to go down. And I was blown away at how successful it was. It's not like I was making $200,000, but I was making good money. I ended up working like 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
Generally throughout the year, which most people work way more than that. And I made like $55,000 that year. First year I did it.
That's pretty good.
For 30 hours a week, not bad. Yeah. So I was really happy with that. That was the most money I've made in my whole life. Maybe that sounds sad to people, but to me, I was pretty pumped about it.
That's big money for me. Yeah.
All right. We will take a break here, and then we'll come back talking more about what this podcast is going to be looking like.
Let's get back, live it a second time. Rewind the tape, 'cause it went so fast. Sometimes in this life you wish the future could be the past.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. So I want to talk now about this podcast generally, why I started it, who's it for, who's going to be on the podcast, stuff like that. So why did I start this podcast? And Grant, I mean, it was my idea, but I asked Grant to co-host with me, and he was up for it. Mm-hmm. And I think he'll be an exceptional co-host.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to start this podcast because, like I said, I was really surprised with my own success in starting my business, my handyman business. And I want other people to be able to have that story as well. My story is really simple. It's not like I did anything exceptional. I'm good at what I do. Like, we're not gonna pretend like me and Grant are like bad at our jobs. Like, we're actually, most people would say our work is really, really high quality and we're talented. But
I hear that a lot.
We're not businessmen, you know? Like, so
Certainly
as
not.
far as like, I thought it's going to be hard to start an LLC. It's going to be hard to do this and that, get my contractor's license. I haven't done either of those things, and I've been fine.
Yeah.
And for most people, I'm sure that's going to be sufficient. And so the like startup cost as far as my time, my money, and all that was not too bad. The hassle of actually doing it was really easy. So it was super attainable. And so I want to encourage other people to do that. Maybe they're not thinking that they can convert their skills into their own business. Maybe they think that they have to work for the man for the rest of their lives, but you can work for yourself, and it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah, the startup hassle for me was I didn't do anything, and all of a sudden my older brother had some work he wanted done, so I started doing some work for him, and then it just kept going. So
And here he is today.
And here I am.
That's how hard it is, folks.
Still going.
Now, granted, he already had an existing network to like build off of, but most
Yes.
people already have that. Like, you have friends, you have family that you can contact, say, "Hi, I'm starting this business. Do you have any work?" It's not like people have to pity you and give you work. Like,
No,
people
it's a
actually
good
want the
starting
work.
point. Yeah.
It's a good place to start, and then you build from there. Like, now I started working for like friends and family, and now I hardly ever work for friends and family because they've just built a larger network of people referring me and stuff like that. So it can be very attainable. All right, another reason why I wanted to start this podcast is not only are we going to talk about my story and Grant's story of our success in these small businesses, but I love economics. I love talking about like business in general and how people can think about their business and how they fit into the big picture of the U.S. market and economics broadly. And I would love to touch on things like that. And just kind of help navigate those issues, because I think people are interested in those. I definitely am interested in thinking about how I fit into the bigger picture.
I'm interested
of
in
the
that,
economy.
I guess I haven't really thought about that much, so interested what you have to say on that.
Yeah. And then, here's another reason. Like I said, I want to encourage people to step into this field. Well, not step into this field. You're already, hopefully people listening are already in blue collar fields, but I'm talking about stepping into starting your own business. And one reason I want to encourage people to do that is because I have heard from so many people about how they cannot find competent workers. Like, people out there are starved for competency because they can't find anybody. Like, I was talking to these people last week who I was working for, and I charged them a lot of money, like more money than I charge most people, and I felt kind of bad, but they were like super excited about that I worked for them, and they loved what I did. And they just couldn't stop thanking me, because they're like, we've been looking for 2 or 3 years to find somebody who could actually do work like this and is competent, because we had people that tried to scam us. And like, there's so many stories out there like that, people that can't find actual good workers. So there's definitely a need in the market for this. So I don't want people to think that, if I start this business, am I going to be able to find work? You're going to be able to find work. People are starved for people that actually know what they're doing.
If you actually work hard and do it right, then people will definitely want you. So
they will. All right. So I want to talk also about who's going to be on our show. I think generally it's going to be me and Grant.
Yeah.
Your host and co-host.
I'm Grant. If a concern we had with this podcast and me being a primary guest on the show is that it might be difficult to tell our voices apart. So right now I'm talking. This is me, Grant, and Garrett, you go ahead and talk.
This is me, Garrett.
And can you tell? I mean, I can tell the difference because I'm talking, but I feel like it might be difficult.
I'm afraid it might be too. We are twin brothers, so we had the curse of our voices also sounding very similar. So maybe a podcast isn't the best for us, but then again, a video might not be that much more helpful anyway.
Yeah, we're doing it anyway.
So just bear with us through that.
Yeah.
We're hopefully going to be releasing shows with other guests too. I have people that I'd love to interview. My wife wants to be interviewed. I don't know if we're going to do that, but I think she would enjoy it, and I might enjoy it. She has a lot to offer. She's really good at design, so that's an option. We have other people who are in blue-collar fields that have a lot to offer as well, so that's on the table. And also, I want to try and do shows once a week or once every other week, so you guys can expect that. All right. I explained a little bit who this show is for. We're talking to people in blue collar industries. Like, that's our background. That's what we're in now. That's the majority of the work that we've done is in blue collar fields. And that's what I think a lot of people, who could potentially start businesses and aren't, as people that work blue collar jobs and just don't really think in those terms. So that's kind of who I'm trying to focus on. All right. I have a bullet point here. What should you expect from the show? So I want to talk each episode about a specific topic. This episode, since it's the first episode, we're talking about the podcast itself.
Yeah.
Next episode.
Kind of a meta episode.
It's a meta episode. That's great. Next episode, I want to talk about pricing. So, for example, we'll talk generally about pricing, how to estimate your work, how to price your work accordingly and not scam people and not make people feel like they're ripped off, but those kind of things. And then we'll have a new topic like that for every episode. For example, how to manage your clients, how to advertise, what business ideas are out there that you could latch onto and start. And so we'll focus on a major topic, but we'll have regular themes. Like we started this show with what project are you working on, how's it going? We're going to start there every week. And the reason I want to start there is so that people listening can get a feel for what we're doing and kind of put themselves in our shoes, because we're just average guys who started these businesses from scratch. You didn't even start it. It just happened.
It just happened.
Right. Yeah. And so I think people hearing our own experience and how it's going can help them get a feel for, this is totally attainable.
Yeah. If I can do it, then I think most people can figure it out.
Exactly. That's why I want you as a co-host. Yeah, and then I'm going to end the show with a question of the week, which we actually have one for this week as well. So, Grant, here's a question of the week.
Excited.
What is a dumb mistake that you've made on the job?
Ooh, a dumb one. I don't have a good one yet, so can you go?
Okay. It doesn't have to be the dumbest. It just has to be dumb.
Oh, okay. There's a big list there. I'll try to.
That's really. We can go through that every episode, maybe if we want. That might be a good place to start. I'll just ask you the same question every time. Oh, here's one that I thought was pretty dumb that came to mind. There was one time. This was a couple years ago. I was on a ladder on a really high ceiling, and I was putting in recessed lights, so I was like working inside the ceiling, and I needed to see what was behind the drywall. So I used my phone as a flashlight because I didn't want to. I had the flashlight in my bag at the bottom of the ladder, but I didn't want to go all the way down because I'm a lazy boy.
No, I've used my phone flashlight plenty times. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's not the end of the world, but I was way too high to be doing this.
Yeah.
So inevitably, I dropped my new phone. I had just got it like a month before, and it shattered into a million pieces, and I never got to use it again. So that was a pretty dumb mistake.
That sounds like it's dumb. So.
Yeah.
I guess more unfortunate, but I guess it's pretty dumb to use your phone flashlight when you're like 15 feet in the air.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have done it, but that was a lesson learned for me.
Did you get those like tingles in your arms? Like anytime I'm like up high and I like grab my phone, I like get super nervous and like my arms get tingly. Like
You're worried for yourself or your phone?
For my phone, like I'm gonna drop it and just break it. Wow. I guess you didn't get that.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. I should train my body to get that tingly feeling. Maybe next time it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Oh, I thought of a dumb mistake I made.
All right, let's hear it.
It's pretty recent, actually. It was like a few weeks ago. So I was putting in some new light switches in the house I'm working at right now. And as I was doing it, the people I'm working for, they had just gotten home. So I was trying to do a quick rush job of it, trying to do it quick and dirty and get it over with.
Quick and dirty, is that your motto?
And what that means is that I didn't turn the power off because I wanted to do it fast. But so there's still live power on these wires. So anyway, I'm trying to do it, trying to be careful, but I'm trying to do it fast. So I zapped myself pretty good.
Nice.
Like pretty good. Like I really startled myself. And it happened while I was talking to the guy. I zapped myself.
Wait, you were in mid-conversation?
Mid-conversation, I zapped myself.
Did you scream, or were you trying to cover it up but play it off like nothing happened?
I tried to play it off like nothing happened, but there's no way he didn't notice that I just zapped myself a good one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was just really embarrassing because, I try to show myself as, a competent worker, which for the most part I am. But, it's hard to do that when you just zap yourself. You just don't look good.
Yeah.
It was very embarrassing.
Now, you've been working for this guy for a long time. Was this early on in the process?
It was like a couple weeks in, yeah.
Oh.
So I didn't feel good about it. But you know what? Things have been going a lot better. He complimented me on my baseboards yesterday, so I think he's looked past that.
Maybe he's forgot entirely.
I hope he has, because it kind of wiped my brain for a second. So hopefully it's been wiped from his as well.
For those of you who don't work with electricity, getting zapped with 110 volts. Well, is it more the volts or the amps? I don't really know what shocks you.
I don't know what shocks
deadly.
you. I just know that if it's higher amps, then you're dead.
Oh, okay.
The higher the amperage, the more.
So maybe this is like 15 current. Amps. Anyway, it's kind of fun.
You say
if you're not if you're not talking to a client.
You've said this, that you think it kind of feels all right.
Well, I do it,
or you just find it an interesting and not a bad sensation.
Yeah, I
don't like it.
It's not only hurts. I like to leave the power on, not only for the thrill of it, because I know there's a possibility of I getting zapped. I sound like an idiot there. I getting zapped. There's that possibility, but also I kind of like the feeling of it. It's kind of fun.
It is strange.
There's something about it.
There's
Like it
nothing
shocks.
quite
It's like a
it.
restart to your body.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think it kind of like stops your heart for a second. So
Maybe that's what I like about it.
It's a reset.
Yeah.
Stops your blood flow for a couple milliseconds and then it restarts it.
It's like I always tell people that we live in Phoenix, so there's like scorpions all around here, bark scorpions, and they sting pretty bad. I have been stung maybe a dozen times, and I always tell people it's kind of cool because it like if you get stung in the arm, for example, you won't feel your whole arm for like a day.
The numbing thing is
super
strange,
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I would recommend that or getting shocked, but sometimes it can be a fun experience.
I don't know how dangerous it is to get zapped, but I've been zapped maybe 100 times, so I can't be that bad.
Maybe you're past it.
Yeah, just the 110 volt, the 220 I don't mess with though. But
I probably sound like a junkie talking about this, but
I gotta get another zap.
I'm not hooked on drugs. I just something about getting stung by a scorpion and zapped by an electrical box. All right,
does sound a little strange, but I get it.
Well, that about wraps it up for episode 1 of the Blue Collar Business Podcast. Grant, what do you think?
I think it went pretty well. Yeah, I think I was a great guest. So.
I think so too.
Yeah,
you're going to be hearing more from Grant. So we will hope you join us next week, and thank you for visiting us.
Goodbye.
And the night we watch the world fly by. Let's get back, live it a second time. Rewind the tape cause it went so fast. Sometimes in this life you wish the future could be. And the night we watch the world fly by. Let's get back, live it a second time. Rewind the tape cause it went so fast. Sometimes in this life you wish the future could be. Oh, it could be the past.